Hello and welcome to the Rin's Art Cafe channel. I am your lovely host, Rin, and this is my guest, Shaquille. You may introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I am Shaquille Van Zichem. At the moment, I am conquering the world to become MMA world champion. Um, Basically, that's all my life at the moment. I turned my hobby, my sports, into my career, so it's just working really hard to achieve my goals and dreams.
Yes, before we officially begin, I do have a few things I would like to say. Please like, share, and subscribe. And when commenting, please be respectful of each other's opinion and be civil in the comment section. And to give a little warning, everything we talk about here is strictly our opinion and is to be taken in this context. Without further ado, enjoy. So, Shaquille, tell me a bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
So, I grew up in Suriname, Paramaribo, Suriname. Um, I think I was born. No, I actually know, but I forgot a little bit. I think I was born in the south, and we moved a little bit to the north, not very long, but I really grew up at Casabaolo. Most actually, we've been living there 21, 22 years now, so that's where I really grew up. But did everything.
Yeah, like
Casabaolo,
I
yes.
know a few people from Casabaola actually.
Hmm.
Like, I'm good friends with them and pretty nice. Like,
Yeah, it was a good neighborhood to grow up to. So you had a lot of children, even till today, playing outside, playing football around 4 or 5 o'clock. So my youth there, growing up, was really nice. I don't think it could be better anywhere else. It was really, I really enjoyed my time there. Really, even till now, I do.
that's so that's so cute. Like, so like because you don't really see kids playing outside anymore, and that's like
Yeah.
something very special because I'm not sure if it's with the technology or with the times changing itself, but there are less and less children playing outside. Do you think
Yeah.
that that as well
Uh-huh.
has had an effect on children and their development?
So it's never good to have like too much of something. You have to get a like be up to date with technology, etc. So, for example, I have a nephew. He's 2 years old, and he knows how to control like his iPad, start apps, make pictures, send voice notes to his grandma, blah blah blah, on his mother's phone. That's good, but then again, the the other part is that you might get socially awkward because you're always communicating through technology, and in where you have to play with other people, it doesn't come normal to you because you're socially not developed on that point. I do, if I have to really choose between two, I really prefer to play with other people than to play on the PlayStation or something like that. I do have a PlayStation and we do play, but I prefer like interacting more on that way. So, and you learn a lot more also with just how to deal with people, etc. So, I think as the parents have to find a good balance between the technology and playing outside, or just playing, sporting, doing something instead of sitting inside. Yeah.
Yes, because like with the decline of physical activity, there has been an increase in more conditions concerning heart and diet, actually. And people's metabolism has actually dropped a bit because not many people are going outside anymore, and especially with the current situation, it's getting a little worse.
Yeah, so I saw this of children not going outside. Usually when I go to other neighborhoods, when I visit family or something, I just look outside and I'm like, you don't have kids playing? But in my neighborhood, I'm really used to seeing it. So yeah, it's for me, I'm really used to seeing that. But it is true that just being active, physically active, is better for your health.
I like this because there have been like some cases where they when there's a kid and the kid's like has a lot of energy, uh some people don't know how to deal with that. And I like the fact that when kids get the chance to play outside, they get to use that energy, that extra energy, instead of just like sitting at home all day and just like running around but not really like doing something productive. Like, but yeah, so that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you like, they don't really know any better. When you,
Yeah.
for example, here in Holland, when I go to my nephew, it's not really a big problem, but he's on his phone. He wants to play like Among Us. I don't know if you guys know it, but
I know the
he
game.
wants to sit there, play Among Us, and it's fine for me, like for 20 minutes. But then I was like, yo, do you have Nerf guns? Because all of them do. I'm like, okay, let's go. We're going outside. This guy was wanted to stay outside the whole day just because he realized there is a lot more ways to just have fun with people, and he really enjoyed it to just play with Nerf guns outside and just run, call some other friends. So when they like, I think they don't always know any better, maybe, and they do enjoy when you like show them some games and stuff. I think, yeah,
Yeah, like I don't like, even though I see like games everywhere like that has like to do with like physical activity, I don't really see people do that anymore. And if that like brings a it's like comes back, I'd really love to see that.
yeah. We really have to. We actually really have to work on that. That's fun because now what I see they're doing, just sideline, they're using technology to motivate people to work out. So like they put like the
Like the
arcade game
Oculus
rooms.
Rift and
Yeah,
like
so
the
like
virtual reality.
that's like next level. That's gonna be next level gaming. I'm gonna for sure be in that. But when the arcade, when you have to do like the dance competition
Yeah.
thing, so they made something like that with a lot of LED lights on the floor, and then you have to touch. So that's a good way to use technology to
Get
still be
people to
active.
move around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a fun way, and it just gave me some ideas for the future to bring to Suriname, etc. So, but I really like that part. So you can use technology for really good things,
Yeah, you
though.
can use technology. Like it's not the technology itself, but the way it is used that's
It is used.
important.
Yeah, not sure. Mm.
Yes. So, where did you go to school?
So actually my whole until actually the whole period was in Zorg and Hope. Um, I went to elementary in Maria Hofje. No, those were the best times. I wish they only give us 2 years. I wish there were more. And then I went to wait, how do you say basisschool in English?
Elementary school.
Oh, elementary is okay, and the one before kleuterschool is?
Kindergarten.
Yeah, exactly. Kindergarten was kindergarten was Pariahafia. Elementary was uh St. Thomas van Aquino School, also really fun. It stays fun until you get more responsibilities. So then I went to Christus Koningsschool, and high school I went to the best school in the world, AMS, Algemene Middelbare School.
The
That was just my
OG.
time in Suriname. Then I left to study in Belgium.
So how
Yeah,
was that process? What were like your favorite memories from school? Let me start off with that first.
I think the best moments came from kindergarten and elementary. Really, those were the best. And then my last year, maybe my first and last year at AMS were also really good. Some memories, just playing football while we were not allowed to at school because then you're gonna sweat a lot and they say we're gonna smell in the room. So it was like illegal football because when we start to play and we see the teacher, we have to stop and like run away and then come back when it's free. So it was really nice, and we did a lot of really back then fun stupid things. But it's good because then you're a child, no responsibility, so
No,
that's
but you
okay.
actually learn from it, like as a kid, like when you're like put in a certain situation, you learn like, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. This is like the consequences, and that adds to a child's development.
Um,
I feel that's important. Like last this last year was my last year at high school as well,
hmm,
and I never played like football, like soccer with anybody else, like since I was there at school. Like I don't really do it, but that year I was like, this year I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do it. Like you only live once, you know,
yeah.
like in that context. So it was fun, but I was like, it was a bit
But
awkward, but it was fun.
just to have an idea, which schools did you attend in Suriname from the
Um,
beginning?
from the beginning, I when I was like around 3 or 4, I went to like this. It was actually before kindergarten, but it was
Mm-hmm,
still considered a kindergarten. It was Marisa Peuterschool.
mm-hmm,
After that, I went to Regional Slotenschool. There, I did like kindergarten, like the 2 years of kindergarten,
yeah.
and that's like the same elementary school. Like if you go up, and then I went to Berkeveld Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to like I just finished at Lyceum in.
Oh, that's really close. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's close
really
to
close.
everything.
It's
Yeah,
like I
close
have
to
friends
everything.
who visit.
No, that's nice. Well, to the reason why my elementary was also the best is because back then I we were just fighting with each other, and if it got out of hand, there were no like there was no danger. But besides that, that's actually where I was practicing my techniques. But I was not on judo yet, or I did not start any martial arts. But that's where I was like fighting with my friends,
Like play fighting.
yeah, playing wrestling, mostly wrestling. Um, that's where we wrestled really a lot. We were like making matches on paper. We made a belt of carton, like we really like a cheap one made with spinners, etc. Like that's
That's
it was a really
awesome.
fun time. Yeah, it was a really fun time.
It's like really, that's like creative. Like
Yeah, it was actually a really fun time there. I would go back to that moment. Those moments. School was. It was also like elementary was. It was still easy, relatively, but it was still easy. So it was really a fun time. Yeah.
so after that, you went to Belgium, and what did you study in Belgium?
I studied physical therapy. So they call it their kinesiotherapy, like kinetic movement, kinesiotherapy, and recovery wetenschappen, research. Yeah,
Science, research
science. Yeah.
science. Yeah.
Mhm.
Was this something you always wanted to do when you were younger?
Well, when I was younger, I wanted to become um, a vet, dierenarts. Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
a veterinary.
yeah, a veterinary. I really love still animals, but somehow I wanted to do that. That changed really quickly. Um, and then it started with my sport. I really loved it. I started teaching at a very young age, just assistant. My trainer allowed me to be his assistant. It was really nice. So I always wanted to do something in sport. In the beginning, it was something with sport management, but because I had a career, it would be awesome to know everything about the human body. So I did know I don't really want to become a physical therapist who is like um, that my life would be helping patients recover, etc., which is very good. I wanted to like manage a big sports center and everything like that with knowing all the knowledge about the human body. So that was the idea. So I always wanted to, after my studies, do a sport management course and just go into business a bit more, but sport business then. Yeah.
Ah,
But
I see.
the study was a really good fundament for me to just continue. Actually, it was a really good choice, really. Yeah.
So it broadened your
Yes.
knowledge on the subject of the human body
Human body
and
and movement.
help
Yeah.
and helped you as well in your career in sport, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How did that start out? Like you said, you were starting out like still in elementary school, wrestling with your friends. But like, where were you like at a point of like, hey, I want to do this?
So I started with judo almost 10 years old, so 9 and something months, 10 months or something. So imagine I'm a 5 to 8 year old. I'm not thinking about I need to do something. For me, it's not a sport, it's just playing. So I just knew I love WWE wrestling. That's where everything started. I just knew that I love it. And back then, they were not telling us, do not try this at home. So it's not really my fault. Really, they didn't. They didn't. If they did, I would really listen. No. So I was just doing what I saw on TV with, and I had friends that also loved wrestling, so that was a plus. So we started doing that. My parents both did martial arts. My dad a bit more. My mom did taekwondo. Um, and she is fit, but she did not do competitions or everything till now. But my dad was really more into it. So it was important for him to have me just do something, be active. I was also, yeah, overweight. Like I was 8 years old, maybe 40 kilograms or something. It's really funny. So yeah, they just threw a lot, put me on everything. Nothing stuck. Doing football for 2 weeks, doing this for 1 week, doing this, anything. And then of course, I was still fighting with the kids, everything, wrestling, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, do you want to try judo?
Hmm.
I'm like, after 20 other sports, I'm like, yeah, okay. So I went there and I saw that everything is just from wrestling. Oh, this is really fun. So the first training, I already fell in love. And that's actually how everything started with judo. And where my whole life, where the whole world opened up to me that this is really amazing. And that also, when I started doing judo, I did not feel the urge to fight outside with other people because I already have a place where I can fight. So, like, real quick, a tip, other parents, you just have to exert the energy to another place. And then I really did not, when I was at parties or at school, it was not necessary for me to wrestle because, yeah, I already wrestled 5 times in a week with judo. So it was enough for me. So that's a bit how everything started
Yeah,
with
you had a good put for your energy.
yeah, uh-huh. And it was judo combined with conditioning. So when I came home, I was straight to bed. My parents were so happy. I was, yeah, no, that was were good days. Mm,
Yeah. I started out with taekwondo actually. I
yeah.
was around like 8 or 9 as well. And it was also because me and my brother were watching WWE,
Hmm.
and that that's when they still gave that's when they actually did give the warnings like don't try this at home. And we were sort of like using like a bit of those moves when we were sparring with other our other members of the place where we went to. If I
Yeah,
believe so, we went to the same place where you trained at once. Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
yeah.
So it was fun, but stuff was just like a bit too much. Like I was doing like too many sports
Hmm.
at once. I was doing that, ballet and swimming in sometimes on the same day. So it got a bit overwhelming. So I had to stop. But I'm gonna try and pick it up again after your university. I really want to like start with like MMA, like training
MMA.
for that.
But ballet and taekwondo, they actually really go good together.
Yeah,
And
they
ballet is
went
hard.
together.
Yeah, ballet is
Everybody
really
was like asking me like, "Hey, how can you like stretch that well?" Oh yeah, it's because she goes to ballet. That's why
hard.
she can get the high kick.
Are you still flexible though? Can
Yes.
you do a split? Yeah? Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's
Like
my weak part.
in my opinion, like even if I'm gonna like start doing this again like after a few years,
Yeah.
uh, me going to the gym like every day and staying flexible is, in my opinion, just to keep that so it doesn't go to waste
Hmm.
and it's healthier for me in the end.
When was the last time you kicked something or somebody really hard? Like just to.
Last time,
When was the last time?
it's like probably like a few months ago. It's like I had like this punching bag,
Hmm.
and I was still in Suriname. I was actually like doing like some exercises and it was like punching it and kicking it. So that's like the last time.
Okay. No, that's good. No, that's nice. That's nice. And swimming. Did you ever do competitions for any
I did
of those?
not do competitions. I was first starting out with getting my diplomas, and then I
Hmm.
went to a few like swim trainings, like um, because I wanted to see what it was like, and for like the competitions. But I never really got into the competitions. They said I
Hmm.
was a bit too slow for the competitions.
Yeah, I'm really bad at swimming also.
I
I
I love swimming, but I haven't swam since the whole situation with the
uh,
Mexican beer company.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. But I really want to like pick up some stuff again after
No,
a
that's
while.
and you just skip everything and you want to go directly to MMA. Yeah, I know you have to ask me
I
questions,
don't
but I'm really
Yeah,
interested.
I don't want to like skip and go to there, but that is like a goal I have set in mind like for the future. Like right now I'm just going to like do these podcasts and like just go to the gym and focus more on my school because yeah, I want to get that out of the way first.
Mhm.
So stuff will be like so I'll have more room to do other stuff
Oh
and it'll
no,
be
I
easier.
didn't mean. Oh, sorry, I didn't
Oh,
mean skip things. I just meant you're going straight to the extreme MMA, not easing into a bit of.
yes, that's what I actually meant.
Yeah.
I meant like easing
Okay.
into it. Like that's a
Yeah.
goal I have set for like the future, not just like when I'm gonna be done with school. Nah, I'm just like gonna train for that first because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to like go into it like just like that because I haven't
Okay.
done anything else in like a long time and I don't want to like make that jump after doing nothing related to that.
Okay, great. No, that's good. I look forward to seeing it. I actually want to see you quick. I don't know why, but yeah, okay. Mm.
Yeah. So like can you elaborate on the other sports that you have tried that you didn't think really didn't work so well for you?
Well, now, just a disclaimer, now I actually am going back to do those sports to add some stuff to my arsenal for MMA or to use some of the methods. So I was just young back then, but I did football. Tried to love football. Football didn't love me back. I did, what did I do? Swimming. I had a lot of problems with my ear, my nose, and like till now. Um, so that's a no. Yeah, and I prefer to run 10K than to swim 1K. Really, I really do. Then I did pencak silat. That's the sport my dad did. He went really far with it, like to world championships. Um, but then the teacher had a accident, and then it just stopped. A car accident. It just stopped. Karate, I didn't like it back then. I did taekwondo. So why did I, after one day, not want to go again? The whole training, I was just stretching. I was like, what's this? So now I am stretching and doing stuff, and I went back to taekwondo to artillery to um, learn some kicks. It actually started with just a friend of mine, Wilfred. He's a black belt in taekwondo. He was really nice to just share all his knowledge with me, give me a good base. Then we together started to collab with Artili, who was really nice to just provide his students and also his knowledge. I actually got he trained us one time. It was he's like a legend, so it was really nice. I did a few more sports that I don't even remember. So um, and while I started judo, the like the sports I did were judo, like simultaneously, judo, basketball, um, actually competitions also, basketball, wrestling, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That's what I did. Yeah, basically. Mm,
Artili asked me like hey Rin, when are you coming back? uh like I was like I didn't really know, but I really enjoyed it. Like just then I was like a bit like overwhelmed, so
mhm.
it didn't really like fall into place with my schedule. Just like way too tired. I
Yeah.
stopped at like I still had to like do a few exams before I got like the yellow belt, and but before that I just stopped.
The yellow belt is the first one, right?
No, you got like the ends. You have like the first yellow slip, and then the second
Oh
one
yeah,
like at the end, and then you go to like the yellow belt.
yeah. Okay, okay, okay. No,
Yeah.
that's good. No, Akil is he's also just as a person, he's just you can sit and talk with him for hours. He's really nice. I like him a lot.
After this is like a funny story. Like after the trainings, like when I went there, I got like really hungry, and he got me like a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah,
It's like the sweetest thing.
yeah. He's just he when I sometimes I went there and then the guys were eating. Artie made some food, but I never eat before I train. So they also offered me. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't really feel well, but it's. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean. It's
it
just
was sweet.
that was just nice.
Yeah,
Mm.
so like when you train, like before you go to train, what is like the warm up that you do?
Well, now just training is. I spend a lot of time if it's striking. I have to kick and punch. I spend a lot. Actually, the standard is I always spend a lot of time on my hips, my hip joints, and my knees. Um, I had a surgery on my knee. My knee is good, but the more you warm up, the more you stretch, the better. So I spend really a lot of time on my hips and my knees, like 75% it's that. If I do striking, I also spend a lot of time on my shoulders and my chest to warm up. And if I go wrestling, one thing a lot of people forget is to, besides the points, is to spend a lot of time on your glutes, like your butt, your back, lower back, and my neck. Really, your neck. If you wrestle or just full MMA, then I spend a lot of time on that. I take mm, I think 20 minutes to warm up and stretch, even if it's just boxing really slow to warm it up or doing some stuff. But I don't really start putting 100% after these 20 minutes. I just don't. Like I saw it is boring to do. I really yeah, it's boring to do, but I saw like a quote or I don't know where I saw it, but that LeBron James is investing $1 million per year in his body just to keep going at that pace. I look up to LeBron James, um, just because he's the best player and what he does outside of his NBA career. Um, so I saw like he's really investing. I'm like, no, my body's my temple. I really have to change the mindset. I have to put more time in it. Um, and again, it's really boring, but you have to do it. So yeah, and I feel better. I feel good after and before. So that's my warm up for the training. Yeah.
Because like some people haven't like talked about it that much. Like stretching, like the people I've talked with, stretching is like one of the most important stuff actually when working out, warming up. And even though like stretching, is it true that it's usually done after a workout?
So there are a lot of studies about this. So now I'm gonna go to the physical therapy part. But so you never have the complete answer. What I and everybody type is different, so you don't have a universal answer. But what they say, and I also lean towards that part, is that before your physical activity, you try to do dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretching is, for example, if I would stretch my pulse, this is static stretching where am just staying still. And dynamic stretching is where you just move. So It just depends on your body, the way and at the end, you do static stretching just to cool down. That's like a basic type of principle that I follow. But I start with static stretching, like for example, um, my lats and my tricep. Here, I start like this, and when it's warm up, I just go real far. Like I mix it up, but I really start to warm my body up because when I train like every day. So if it's Thursday, my body's completely broken down. So I really have to wake it up, like slowly go like this. And then when I feel like, okay, I'm getting warm, then you start to really do dynamic stretching. So to answer the question, before and after is the best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like I've been trying to like look for stuff that actually works for me as well. Because I noticed if I don't do a stretch before I do the exercise, I end up having like a couple of issues actually because it doesn't feel like that part is warmed up well,
yeah,
or like it's kind of feels stiff, I would
yeah,
say. So yeah, I do feel like that is important.
yeah. And then you also your my my biggest fear in life is just injury. So
Ah,
getting injured. So no, there is another big fear in life, but that's something stupid that I'm not gonna say.
you don't need to say it. You don't need to say it.
Yeah, like I prank people sometimes, and it's a really easy thing to use against me, so I'm just gonna skip that. But yeah, so injuries, it's I just don't feel good when I feel like the stiffness. I know I'm stiff if I don't warm up good, and then my mind is really like, oh, if I make a mistake, I might get injured, blah blah blah. So it's a good paranoia to have. It helped me with going through the boring stuff. So yeah, but I really completely understand what you mean. And the thing is, um, I'm even surprised that I made the evolution to wanting to stretch, wanting to now meditate. Because for me back then, I could come out of a cold shower and we can spar directly, like do do everything. But and I was like, no, stretching is. Why do you want to stretch? Blah blah blah. I was really anti-stretching, but it's really important. Yeah.
Like with someone I was talking to a while ago, he also does stuff like this, but that's more for himself. He was actually talking about like meditation, and that like in some forms of martial arts, like there is meditation to focus one's intent, like during the fight and wherever else. It just helps along with it, like doing the stretches, the meditation, besides also learning the skills. And there are also like disciplines that come with that.
So with Penchak Silat, my dad used to meditate. He told me some stories, and um, he actually told me we're gonna do it, but when you're ready, like the avatar, when you're ready, you know. So I really do want to do it. My schedule has been very busy, but I've heard the stories. I've seen it also. They had some demonstrations in Suriname, and I watch a lot of documentaries, so sometimes I just watch. The mind, we haven't even scientists, we know like 10% of what the mind is capable of. So it is interesting because they go to the monks and they can't explain how they can do certain things. Like
Yeah, like
even
the
with time.
Shaolin monks, they
Yeah,
meditate, they do all of this stuff. It's a part of their practice.
yeah. So I don't have a lot of knowledge about it. I do believe it can help. And when I have some spare time, and I am gonna make the time now, it's just I'm really busy with other stuff. I do want to go in depth. And that I mean just within 2 years, not when I'm 40 something years old, like really within 2 years. I really want to meditate. I did start to do like breathing exercises at the CrossFit gym where I go to. The owner is the CEO of the CrossFit gym is Randy Badal. He's, I think, a lot of degrees black belt in Kyokushinkai, and they also do breathing exercises. So we started with some stuff to open your broaden your lung capacity, VO2 max, and it was weird, but we had to hold our breath for some seconds, and after like 10 minutes I did really feel improvement in my breathing. So I do want to go go further into meditation, etc. To um, yeah, when I have some more free time, I do really want to.
It was because like in the beginning, I I was like I'm not sure why people have this type of mindset. They're like, oh no, I don't believe in like meditation or whatever, and like it doesn't work. Or I actually like used to have that mindset in the past,
Hmm.
and then I like stopped that, and I just went to sit down, and then I went to meditate, and like I did this like a few days like before I went to like do some training, some exercises, and a bit of like yoga and stretching, and it actually really helps. It helps you focus, and like the breathing exercises. Like you think, oh, it's just sitting around doing nothing, but that's not what it actually is.
Yeah,
It's you're focusing. You're
yeah.
focusing your intent. You're focusing your energy and your breathing. And
It,
before, like you don't realize it, but there are actually like changes going on in the way you think and your perception of the things around you, because you're taking that little moment for yourself to relax
yeah,
and like a little mental reset.
it's it's one thing I really want to like study a bit is if, because they talk about the chakra, your energy, etc. And some people claim to really see it. I I'm always open, so I'm not gonna say, oh, this is good or this is I believe it or not. So I do really want to check that out because they say everything is your chakra. If you're like sick, there is a disturbance in your chakra, etc. And then by meditating and doing some stuff, you can like make it complete again. So it's what you're saying is there is more to what science can explain a lot of times. Yeah.
I see it as also being a part of science as well, but it's like a bit different in
Yeah.
my view. But that whole thing, I saw it actually in like in this video I was watching, like uh if there's like a blockage in like one of the chakras, because it's like energy is like flowing water. If
Right.
there's like a blockage, it won't flow. Like if there's like a blockage between like your chakras, like the energy won't flow. And yeah, and working on that like helps you move forward. And even when things seem not so great, it's like when you have that balance, you'll still be able to look on the bright side even when things around you don't seem that great. And it'll help you push forward as well.
Yeah. The funny thing about chakra though, the first time I started to look it up, I don't know, maybe you do, was while watching Naruto. I was a big Naruto fan. But just I think that Naruto and of course Dragon Ball Z are the only anime I watched. Maybe Pokemon, but not really. Do you know Naruto by the way? Because
Yeah,
I
I
like
know Naruto, I know Dragon Ball, like I
yeah,
know like they use like a like Asian philosophy,
Yeah,
and they work it like into each episode, each manga, and they like
but
explain that and how it works.
that's where I started to check like, is chakra real?
And
So
they
no,
also
but
explained it in like show Avatar, like with that old Indian guy, like he was
yeah,
like explaining stuff to Aang. And
no,
this is
it's
like I think how some people like as kids learn about those stuff, like, and who aren't familiar with that already from
mhm,
their home, because like in Hinduism I believe, and like other Asian, more Asian like
religions.
religions, they do explain that.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's because yoga came from that part,
Yeah,
India, Pakistan mostly.
like there
Yeah.
was a guy from India. He actually brought like his teachings from yoga to like China to develop kung fu,
Oh,
because
really?
he saw the monks there, uh and like he like tried teaching them like some of the stuff from yoga as well, and like he trained with them.
It's I just think it's just amazing to me when there is like a whole undiscovered part of the world. I'm fascinated by that. So it's really nice, and I do want to study it more to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you can really try it. Like I tried meditating, and when I was like at a certain point, like when you said sometimes people see something, I began to see like purple and blue light.
Hmm.
Nothing else but those things. Even if your mind is like making it up themselves, it's like still an interesting thing to see. Like even
Yeah.
people who get like put in these tanks, that's like filled with water, but it's completely dark and there's no sound. You kind of have that same effect, like because you're you yourself are there, but it's all peace and quiet.
Yeah.
But like I think meditation would be considered a little better than just being in one of those tanks, because if you're in there for a little too long, it just gets a bit weird.
Yeah. I really have to check that out too. But I'm really gonna do it. Take some time when I'm ready, like my dad said. That guy, sometimes this guy's so funny. Oh my God. I love him though.
Yes.
Mm.
Do you have any other talents and things you are passionate about?
So let's see. I used to, I like cooking. Yeah, I think that is the one I'm most proud of. The reason why, not for anybody else, I love to eat. So I really love to eat. And I don't really have high standards for eating, but maybe I do. My mom, my sisters, they say I'm difficult, but
You're a picky eater.
not really, because yes and no. Because, for example, if you cook something that I don't like, I don't make a scene. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna eat. I don't even tell them I'm not gonna eat. They're like, why don't you eat? Oh, you don't like it again. You're so blah blah blah. I don't make a scene. No, if nobody asked me anything, they wouldn't even know I wasn't eating. But I think yeah, cooking is one of them, and sometimes I can freestyle rap. If it's a good night, if my head's good, I can make like good raps sometimes. but just freestyle. I don't write down.
Mm.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if I would have chose another career in just show business, I would like to be either a DJ or a rapper. No, not an actor. Not really my a DJ or a rapper. That's just fun. Fun to do. Yeah.
On the topic of food, like the diet, like for the training, like what does that look like? Like, can you explain that?
Okay,
The
so
pre-workout meals and
the just supplements I don't use a lot. I use just whey protein, and that's just it's a supplement. So like if you have vitamin pills, vitamin pills is just they take vitamins out of fruit and vegetables, try to put it in a pill, because you don't get enough through your food. I'm just explaining this because a lot of people don't really know why some people use whey protein and what it is. Whey protein is just protein you would get out of milk
milk?
products, I
Or, yeah.
think, yeah. But you can also get the protein out of like protein itself out of meat. If you train 3 times a day, it sounds weird, but you don't have time to eat. You really don't have time to eat. It's really hard to eat 4 or 5 times a day. So that's why I use protein. I also use some multivitamin supplements and spirulina, just some, and omega-3 fats. That's just everything I use. And then I just eat. If I don't have a competition, I just substitute white rice with bulgur or brown rice, normal oil with olive oil, and white bread, anything white with brown. No pun intended. I don't know, but anything like white potatoes or something like that.
You'll change it up for the ones that are less processed.
Yeah, so to more
Healthier
complex carbs.
alternatives.
Yeah,
Complex carbs.
complex carbs are just everything brown,
Yeah,
basically.
for instance, like bread, like white bread would be like considered simple carbs.
Yeah, with the thing with simple carbs is it goes through your metabolism fast. It burns really fast. It gives you fast sugar. So if you don't use it, that's when you it's just gonna
Yeah, with
that's when you
insulin, it's gonna
yeah,
turn into fat and
yeah.
get saved as
And
fat in your body.
if you eat like complex carb, it's gonna release the carbs really slow. It keeps you full, and you have more energy for a longer time of period, and your blood sugar levels stay a bit more balanced than when you would take the other one. So that's basically, I eat a lot of vegetables. I love broccoli. I can eat broccoli all day, but in Suriname, it's not because I like the fresh one, not
Not the
the
frozen one.
yeah. It's expensive in Suriname, and also not every store has it. So
Yeah.
then I just use any vegetable we have. I don't eat tire blood and sapropo or something like, yeah, that's really bad. Oh, and
Oh, I love
doctor.
Super. Like
I also
for context, people, this is bitter melon. Like if
yeah,
you're gonna look it up,
yeah, and just a lot of meat. I like meat. Without meat, I can't eat nor live. So a lot of meat. That's basically it. When I eat bread, it's just with 3 eggs or something like that. Um, and I just usually eat with what my mom is cooking if I don't have a competition. If I have a competition, I just actually eat less but more often. If I have to lose weight, my I eat very dry the last 2 weeks. Like no, just cooking everything in water, almost no salt. That's Yeah, that's basically it. And after competition, I just continue to eat with what my mom's cooking, just to substitute everything to complex carbs, and I just eat with all of that. So that's not really a big problem.
Because
Yeah.
what I wanted to also ask you this is because I actually like went on like a keto diet, and I did like workouts with weights and yeah, stuff like that. I tried like a method where I just drank black coffee with like coconut oil and butter in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and then I'd eat after the workout, but like I would not eat anything at night or in between, like uh like nothing in between. I'll just have like that one meal per day. I was like
Yeah.
trying like the method of fasting, but like the moment I stopped doing that and I switched over to like a regular diet, like eating processed foods again, eating like uh the simple carbs as well, it sort of backfired on me.
Yeah.
So do you have like some advice on how to combat that, like the
It's
that
the
shift?
keto diet. I know a little bit about it, but I haven't tried it. I did try intermittent fasting a lot, to any level, even one day without eating. Um, that I know, it's of course your body is different, but to give you maybe yeah, like a small story that you can maybe relate to or something. There is a MMA fighter who wanted to challenge himself to, before a competition, go vegan. So he went vegan for like his whole training camp, maybe eight weeks. It's 2 months. So he explained that, yeah, you just do whatever you gotta do. I can relate to that. Like, you just have to do it, so you do it, no problem. But after, when the competition was done, he had his fight. He ordered a big steak, and he actually couldn't eat it. So his body was rejecting it. He was throwing up. And till today, he's vegan. He can't eat meat. So he tried it again, but it wasn't the same. So I think maybe you transfer too quickly to your normal diet again. How long did
Yeah.
you do the diet, by the way?
I started last year. I had like I did the thing with the coffee, the intermittent fasting, like one day I wouldn't eat at all, but I did eat like the times when I would eat, I did eat meat, but I and vegetables. I did not eat rice. That was the
Mhm.
thing.
No, but how long did you do the diet before you
The
stopped?
diet, I did it from when was it again? Like 2019 March till January of 2020.
Yeah. I think it's very normal that you had that it backfired because your body was used to um
Not eating as much.
yeah, it's the same as um I get very miserable if I eat too much mayonnaise. But I have like some people who just pour mayonnaise on it and then like eat it with a spoon almost. Or I drink my syrup. People think it's very like sugary and stuff. Like when they drink it, they like put like 4 liters more of water, and
Yeah,
I
they'll
just drink it like that.
literally,
So it's
yeah.
what your body's used to. So after 1 year, your body was really not used to eating that much or eating other stuff. So I think that's the reason why you had that reaction. I really think that's it. Just the same story about the vegan MMA fighter. I think that's just the
You basically
reaction.
shock your body with all these changes at once. It's it's gonna be normal for it to like panic at that moment, but you have to like do things gradually. And this is like an important lesson to take away. Like when you're starting something, when you're beginning, and when you want to do something new, you have to do it gradually,
Yeah,
one step
that's
at a time,
easier. Life is a marathon.
or else you'll be like stressed out and
Yeah,
you'll probably not want to do it anymore. Like I've seen people like, or not seen people, I heard about people just like wanting to, for instance, do a lot in one day, like for an exercise and with this many weights. And I'm like, why are you gonna like exhaust your body that way? You're not gonna want to do it anymore afterwards. You're not building up to it. And then you're gonna like complain like nothing's working, nothing's helping.
yeah. Because we're really impatient.
You want to see
We're
results.
Yeah, we want to see the results like now. But it's with dieting and sport and losing weight. Um, but maybe the marketing of those companies and brands,
They're
it's
misleading
results lose weight. Yeah, because to be realistic, if you start training or you start with a diet, you're gonna lose the weight after 3 weeks. You're gonna see
at.
results. So if but they want to see it in 1 week. And
Yeah,
even though if you lose the easy come easy go, like if you lose it fast, start to eat again, it comes fast again. So it's
yeah.
uh it's really better to take it slow, gradually, and like it's a marathon, not a sprint, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do prefer just running instead of dieting. Like I prefer, if somebody says eat uh chicken with fries, but then you have to run 40 minutes, I take the deal. I just eat it. I
I
really
could,
prefer,
yeah.
huh? I really prefer. I just like to eat, so yeah,
I'm
I,
like, it's worth it if I can eat like more, I'm gonna run more. Like
yeah,
that's it for me.
yeah. I just love to eat. Somebody wants to kidnap me or surprise me, just with food, always.
Kidnap you with food.
It's not gonna work though, but but like one of my, and this is a real funny story. One of my birthdays, um, a friend of my sister was like, I don't know what to get your brother for his birthday, blah blah. So she told him, bring this. And he was like, I think you're joking. How can somebody want that? She's like, trust me, bring this. She's like, he was like, yo, if he doesn't like it, I'm gonna tell him you said it. Don't prank me. You know what he brought? He brought a whole chicken, a raw chicken, wrapped it in paper, in as a present, and gave it to me. So I opened it up. I was so happy you could not believe it. Oh my god. I was that was that year I think the best present I got. Like a whole chicken.
Aw.
Like that's how bad it is with me and food. It's not good. Not good.
Like like I'm a bit lazy sometimes to like cook when uh I do like cooking as well. Like I make
Mhm.
like whatever I can find. Like I look up like a YouTube tutorial as well to like see maybe if I can change it up, or but I don't even need that. And like if I like buy like a new vegetable or a new meat type that I haven't had before, like for instance, or I had it but I haven't made it myself,
Yeah.
I actually get super excited as well because I'm like thinking of all the ways I can prepare it, all
Uh-huh.
what sauces I can make, what glazes I can add. Would I eat it with rice or potatoes? The possibilities are endless.
I really feel you when I'm in the kitchen, especially when my food is good. I feel like nothing can stop me.
I still
I'm
have
the
the
best.
recipes memorized in my head, like from videos I watched months ago that I
Yeah.
have actually tried out.
What's your favorite? Oh wait, your favorite just meal that somebody in your family makes, and your favorite place to eat in Suriname,
Okay,
and
my
why?
favorite meal. Okay, so from Suriname, I would say my grandma's cooking, like everything she makes, it's like it doesn't matter like if it's moksalesi, nasi goreng, bami goreng. She makes a good sweet and sour fish and shrimp. That's like one of her best dishes. I'm like, where did you learn this? She was like, TV.
Oh really?
She just
Yeah.
casually said, oh yeah, TV. And like the sweet and sour fish, that's like one of like my favorite ones. Like every time when guests come over, she brings out that one, everybody's happy. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. Can you please like make some that I can like take home with me? uh and like my favorite place to eat in Suriname, that's like, okay, I don't have like a specific favorite place, but my parents used to bring us to a lot to this warung rono, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd always like order like food there, and it was like good food like soto,
Uh-huh.
nasi goreng, and they also had chop soy there,
Which neighborhood is it? The one.
Blaugrond,
Oh,
in like
okay.
close to
Yeah.
Blaugrond,
Okay.
Bonistraat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, that's nice.
Like even
Oh,
when we're going out with friends or we have a party, we go there
we go there.
because like my family is Muslim. Like they go for like something that's halal. So, and that's a place where they like to eat. Like they have their memories there and
Yeah.
they really like to go there.
No, that's cool. That's nice. So you've said nasi goreng two times. Is that your favorite thing to eat? Can you eat it every day? Nasi.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay. No,
Nasi goreng is like my favorite.
no, that's good. That's good. All right. No, but that's we have a lot of that's a lot of different spices and like dishes in Suriname. It's
Yeah, like everybody's
we take it
culture
for
came
granted.
together
Yeah,
there.
I don't know if we take it for granted, but no, I don't think we take it for granted, but we don't realize how
Yeah,
blessed we actually are.
at a point you can say we do take it for granted. Like when we're there, we have like the option of like, hey, I want some Hong Kong nasi or nasi goreng or chicken curry, curry chicken, roti. But like when you like go somewhere else, like in a
And it,
different part of the world, you're like you miss it. You
yeah.
end up missing it because you're like, hey, like why is there like just a little bit like we're used to like some like bigger meal portions,
Oh,
like
damn, yeah, that,
when you haven't had it for like a long time, you like really miss it, like especially now that
no,
I live alone. I actually like think about my grandmother's cooking.
yeah. What surprised me here? Maybe you too. That McDonald's all around the world, they don't have chicken. Like chicken, like
Like
the
they don't have,
two-piece meal.
yeah, I
I
like
went
the
to
chicken
McDonald's. I'm like, can I
drumsticks.
have a two-piece meal? They're like,
It's
what?
like what's a two-piece meal?
I'm like, two pieces of chicken.
Because
No,
it's
we
from
don't.
Trinidad. Like it's a Caribbean special.
Yeah, so I didn't know
Like
that.
everywhere around the world it's different. Like for
Yeah,
instance, in Asian countries, they have other stuff as well, like more Asian oriented food.
no, that
Like
was
for
to me.
instance, you'll get some places with like chutney and masala, or like other places you have other stuff. And like I think in Europe it's like more, yeah, what we consider westernized
Yeah,
versions.
they have to tell us that because it's only in city now. No, yeah. I can actually talk about food the whole day, so yeah,
If we end up starting like a cooking show just for
yeah.
fun.
Let's go to the kitchen. Come. Okay. No, no, no. That's
Like,
really nice.
it reminds me of like
Mhm.
Martha and Snoop Dogg. Like
Yeah, so I never saw a full episode, but I did see them on Ellen. They have good chemistry together. What I saw, but I never watched the show. But Snoop is just funny. He's just naturally funny. And
yeah, they
Martha,
work well
they're
together.
good together. Yeah, it's really nice. They're good together. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
so in my like I'm more of like I like baking stuff more. Like I'm back in like 2012 I was like in like this baking craze. Like I bought like all of this stuff, like uh the fondant for like making like cakes and stuff, and I made like these cakes with my mother. There was like a rise of YouTubers like doing like the home
yes.
cooking and the pastry stuff, right? So that's like where some of like the inspiration came from. And that's also where I learned to cook for myself. I was watching YouTubers like Chef John from Food Wishes, and even now I have like a few YouTubers that I watch because their advice has actually like fit well with me and helped me cook and stuff.
But when you bake, because I'm not a big fan of, yeah, I'm not a big fan of baking. Um, what is your go-to? What do you like in cakes? Or yeah, what do you like in cakes?
Like
What's
what
your
kind of
like?
cakes?
Yeah, what do you like? Yeah,
So recently I have like seen like the difference between vegan cakes and like your standard cake with all the other stuff inside. Like there is a difference, but they're special and delicious in their own way. I
yeah.
would say like I'm like a big chocolate cake fan, but like I also like vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So,
any kind of flavor, it's good for me. But like for me, if it's like way too sweet, like with the icing, then I don't really like it. I just like scrape the icing off and just eat the cake.
yeah, I don't really. There are not a lot of cakes I like, so I don't
So
really like cake.
I usually go with like a cream cheese frosting actually, because it's like tangy but it's not too sweet. If it's gonna be too sweet, then I'm just like no.
Cream cream cheese frosting is nice. I like it also.
Yeah.
So I was doing a because I was doing a program on TV. They just asked us. You had to. It was a cooking competition called Body Battle, like cooking battle. Reason why it comes to me is because the TV show now they are 2 years, and yesterday I saw a video about them recapping everything. So it was we had to cook against one another with a dish we did not have the recipe of. We just had a picture. So I won the first one. Um, I won the
Congratulations.
first one, and I went to the semifinals. And there I was like, okay, I never baked anything before in my life. And what did we have to do? Red velvet cinnamon rolls. I was like,
Okay.
oh,
Already have the recipe in my head right now actually.
yeah, it was. I was like, yo, I'm on TV. I'm not about to lose, but I don't see myself winning. So I was like just talking a lot of trash, making some stuff, but still trying a real legit effort to make something good. So mine's end up being really good, and I end up winning that episode. But it was really Yeah, baking is something else. Baking, I don't want to do it again. Baking is
Like
really something else. Yeah.
with me, I have a few recipes like already memorized in my head. So if somebody like tries to throw like a curveball at me, like add this or add that, I already in my mind I already have like the recipes. So it doesn't matter what you throw at me, I'll still be able to make it
No,
because
that's
I don't know why, but because of probably because of watching so many videos, I broke down like the food and the recipes down to like the basics and the
yeah.
basics with flavor itself, like what matches what. Like you can't just throw everything together. And you have to know like your leavening agents, especially when you're baking, like making bread, depending on what bread you are making or what
Mm.
you're baking. That's like stuff you have to know.
Do you know from Netflix Sumbo something? It's
No.
a
Uh,
pastry chef. He is apparently very good. Anyway, I watched this guy. I watched some episodes of him. Yeah, but it's with contestants, so where they make cakes, and that just adds to what you're saying. They're like making cake with um, nitrogen gas to freeze it, and small cakes. It's just amazing how they made so many. Like, why so difficult? I was like, why? Why do you guys make it so difficult? But it's still really, it's a science actually at the moment just to make like the special cakes and the
it's
competition, whatever
it's
they're doing.
chemistry. Like
Yeah.
you chemistry to like make the all these different kinds of things. Like I kid you not, I bought like a KitchenAid mixer and the ice cream attachment as well. And it's
And
just sitting at in Suriname, like the attachment where you can like make ice cream with it.
oh,
I made ice cream. I made sorbets and like your
really?
regular ice cream, and I like make some ice cream cake.
Yeah. If I had that at home, it would not be good. No. But that's cool. So you could
Yeah,
make your own homemade ice cream. Was it good
yeah,
though?
it was good. I made like matcha ice cream as well, chocolate ice cream.
Yeah. No, that's really nice. It's really nice, yeah. Mm.
And speaking of like YouTubers and YouTube shows, like there's like this fight coming up with Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. Th- this was this was unexpected.
Yeah, it really Logan Paul said he signed a contract. I know Floyd Mayweather isn't um yeah, he is able to do it, as in he's willing to do stuff like that. I was skeptical at first, but now I'm like, wait a minute. Is this thing really happening? Um
Like
like
you like see YouTubers and you wouldn't take that seriously because of the fact that they're YouTubers, but they have actually trained for this.
yeah, it's they have well, I just because they put on a character, of course. I try to look past it. They really did, from what I saw, because I started following the fight camp of Logan Paul when he was fighting, I think KSI.
Guess yeah.
Yeah, so I saw them both. Just marketing wise, um, yeah, they are like trendsetters. It's amazing what they did, just to view it as that, not with a fight background, blah blah. Um, so I started seeing Logan Paul. Every match they were getting legit better. Of course, they are fighting like people in the beginning, like against KSI. They did fight like people who were training for 1 year. It was not world level boxing, of course. So you did see that, but it was entertaining. The that they had press conferences in London, I think, in the US, just to do that as 23-year-olds. I think he's 24 or 25, Logan. It's amazing. And now that you have the attention of arguably the best boxer in the world in Floyd Mayweather, even if it's an exhibition fight. I applaud Logan Paul for that. As a businessman, Floyd Mayweather, he's gonna make easy money, guaranteed. Um, as a fight fan, that that he's gonna fight Floyd Mayweather like that, I don't know why Floyd Mayweather is gonna do it. I really don't. I don't understand it. But when he was fighting KSI, I was like, okay, two YouTubers, two celebrities, that's fun. But when you're gonna fight the best boxer now, it's gonna be fun to watch. But Floyd is gonna walk past him, school him. It's gonna be fun to see. I actually look forward to it. I really do.
Yeah,
And then you have his little brother, Jake Paul, wanting to
yeah.
fight Conor McGregor. That I do want to see because Conor made the step to something higher. I want to see Conor make the step to not something lower, but to somebody who is the underdog.
Mhm.
Is it good for the sport? Never mind. I
Oh,
just do it. I want to see it. I really want to see it.
like what I
Uh,
what I do see is that because both of them have like a younger following that grew up with them, they probably don't know that much about like what boxing was like in the past, and maybe this also increased their interests for it because they're seeing like their favorite YouTuber doing it, and they'll be more motivated to actually do some physical stuff, like some
yeah.
physical exercise, because they're seeing what they can accomplish, so they'll want to bring themselves further as well forward. But there was like this thing that kind of irritated me a bit. It was during Jake Paul's interview. I forgot which one it was, but uh like there were like these ladies, and they were literally asking Jake like, was it racist that you hit Nate?
Yeah, I saw it.
I was like, what kind of question is that to ask someone? I know how things are in this current political climate, but that's rude
So
and a bad joke.
yeah, it was because I never heard about these two ladies before, especially it's Jamil Hill. Um, Apparently, she is an advocate for Black Lives Matters and equality for Black people in America. But the first time she said it, because I did not know her, I did see it as a joke. But then they asked it again. So it was just, uh,
Like
I could
even Jake was
see,
like,
yeah, he was like, but I think he had like a really good answer. He had a really good answer to like, that was really good for his character. It was just a very lame and stupid joke. I don't, I, yeah, it's like when you try to be funny and it's not really working. It
but they
was
like try to force the joke and then like try to explain it more. It's just
like the first one I could even was like the first time she asked it, was it racist? I'm like lol. And then the second time I'm like, why do you ask the question again? I don't get it. So yeah,
yeah,
that was stupid. That was stupid. I totally agree.
yeah. But other than that, yeah, there's a lot more positive coming from this, and there I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but like in the beginning when like Jake and Logan started, uh people looked down upon them because they had like such a young audience and they were like doing this weird stuff, and that this in a sense brought them character development, and with like their training and like them changing it, like it brings a smile to my face, like when you see like character development like this.
Yeah, to me it goes a lot deeper because the CEO of most of them, and then now I'm talking Hollywood, but it can also be translated to Suriname. Um, the CEOs and owners of media companies are like old people, 60 plus years old, and it doesn't seem logical to them that the new the new wave is going to be YouTube. We don't need television anymore as much. It's going to be streaming. It's going to be even with Spotify. Nobody's going to use CDs anymore. Blah blah. That when somebody's generating like an income from YouTube back then, it's like, oh, who are you? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. But I think now everybody starts to understand the power all of those YouTubers, all of those influencers have. Um, and at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna still have like cable television maybe anymore. It's gonna be something completely different. So to get to the answer, it's back then they looked down on them because they didn't understand what was happening, and those who did understand or were open to it are actually ahead of everybody else because like Spotify understood it. I think um,
TikTok
the
as
guy,
well, the way they're using like the
yeah,
music
yeah,
and the artists, like it helps boost like people's careers. And
yeah.
like I've seen people like in the beginning fear the fact that they're gonna have the title of YouTuber next to their name because they wouldn't have been taken seriously. There's like an artist I know, he left like the YouTube scene because it wasn't like really working out for him anymore, and like he'll still have to stay with that brand with him for the rest of his life. But for his new fans who do not know that, that's like in a way, in his mind, a blessing. But why do you think, is that like in your mind the reason why people are were trying to move away from the YouTube thing? Like because
Um,
people look down upon YouTubers.
I I think um, s- sometimes it's they want to go to the next level. I can understand that. Um, I think Justin Bieber, every child, every person that started very young with this, um, they get bored maybe with the the lifestyle of keeping it maybe PG-13 or something like that, and they want to go like, okay, I'm done with YouTube. I really want to go on the big screen, Hollywood,
Yeah.
maybe something like that, or I'm mature now. I want to go to the next step. Um, but now, what I'm also seeing is that YouTube is not for um, like the kids anymore. You start to see TV shows, podcasts on YouTube. Like everybody, every age, every style is now on YouTube. So they understand like I need to go on YouTube if I want to reach a bigger audience. And everybody is on YouTube now. Like even my mom is on YouTube, watching stuff. My dad is checking every news thing of Russia, Pakistan. So everybody's on YouTube. I think they start to understand that part. Um, that's just gonna be the new life. Yeah,
Yeah. Like my grandmother herself, like she started watching like shows from India and like trying out those recipes. And my parents as well, like they're like checking all of these videos. And that's where it's all going now. Like
yeah,
in a way, you feel like a lot better like looking up those things yourself. You're not just sitting behind a screen per se, being shown what somebody else wants you to see. You're looking up those things for yourself.
yeah.
It gives you like a better feeling.
On demand. and
On demand,
everybody,
yes.
yeah. And just as I said, the companies that started to understand what's going to be
They saw the potential in that.
new generation. I could not imagine back then that Netflix was going to exist, that you can just pay monthly and you're going to see new movies. That um, Netflix specials, comedic specials, that they're going to be fully just on Netflix and you get paid. That's unthinkable as a comedian, that that's just the way you're going to get paid for.
And it's like better for a few, like better for people because they can now just like if they want to start like a movie or something, and they can like run it through like Netflix or a different streaming service, and they'll get some traction.
Yeah,
Because I see people bringing up stuff back, like for instance the show Avatar, it got put on Netflix, and then I saw TikTok booming with like all these TikTokers doing stuff related to that,
yeah,
so that these things get to like have a comeback and actually become like a topic of discussion amongst people.
no,
But there
that's
are also dangers in it as well, and stuff is being censored for the sake of safety,
yeah,
because some people think it's not safe for others to hear certain ideas, and even me talking about it could have me end up somewhere on a list,
yeah.
either
So
on YouTube, as in don't show her content that
yeah,
much or something like that. And that's
so
like that's concerning, because I'm not, for instance, I might not even be talking about that, but because a word shows up
yeah,
that was also happened to be related to that, but they have nothing to do with each other, then I'm like, why? Like, you're not even taking the time to look at it, you're just running it through a system, and that part is being taken out of context.
yeah. It's I saw the where Congress was pressing Mark Zuckerberg about censorship in, because they want him to filter when governments try to, yes, point I'm trying to make, when governments try to use use Facebook as propaganda material or medium, but then you really come to freedom of speech and censorship. It is a difficult subject because when is it freedom of speech? And then I also checked to what's happening in Europe with um, the way the Muslim religion is treated, especially in France. Is it freedom of speech, and when do you do this or whatever? So it is very difficult. I even don't have the answer. Um, but when you have this much responsibility, YouTube, Facebook, and you you have 3 billion members, you're gonna use algorithms, so computers, bots, and they're gonna make mistakes because they don't have
Yeah.
subjective um,
Or
reasoning.
objective
Yeah,
mind.
they're more objective, so
Like, it's all
mistakes cannot happen.
programming.
Yeah, so it is. I really don't know, but I understand. Really, I
Yeah.
am for freedom of speech as long as it's not hate speech. Yeah, or
As
calling.
long as you're not abusing it to hurt someone else on purpose.
Yeah, but hurt is that's the part where
That's
it
subjective. That's subjective. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
yeah. So
But like, yeah, offense is something people take. Like, I let me just say it in a different way. I'd rather you make yourself stronger to face with those issues and that criticism and what you're getting, than that you like make everything squeaky clean and polish it.
Yeah, I I totally agree.
Because like
We
a
have
smart
to, yeah,
man and like a smart person, like a person that wants to survive, they adapt to their surroundings. They don't make their surroundings adapt to them.
yeah. We for sure you have to do that because you cannot control everybody else, but we just as a society have to just be nicer to each other. And
Yeah, the
I think,
responsibility falls on ourselves.
yeah, in Suriname we don't even notice, but we respect each other's religion. We don't we just respect everything. Like I see some things happening here in Europe that would never happen in Suriname,
Yeah.
even though it is we have the right to do it. Like I read one day, one time that just out of protest, uh, far right, yeah, far right, a movement here. They went to barbecue pork meat in front of a mosque.
A
And
mosque.
a mosque, yeah. In Suriname, you can do it, but we would never do it. Like we respect each other that much. So
Or like
we,
would we actually put in the energy, the time, the effort just to like be mean? Like we'd rather
yeah,
go home and have our own barbecue there and have fun with friends rather than do it just to anger someone or to be disrespectful.
yeah. So that's one of the main. That's why I really love this country. I think we have to do more studies about why and how our country is working because
Like
it
even
doesn't.
though not
Yeah,
everything is that great, but in the places where other countries haven't had this type of growth, we actually did uh grow. So like when I like see all the other stuff and like more the political stuff and people talk about the political stuff on I don't on the internet, on TikTok, I'm like, but why? Like I grew up in like a place where everybody's basically is being raised up in everybody's culture.
yeah,
We know like some generations of the past, like they weren't as integrated as like the newer generation. But so when I see like this divide outside of like of Suriname, like the divide of the cultures, I'm like I feel like something's missing.
yeah. And I don't know if you have experienced this, but I was of course in Belgium, and in Brussels they don't know about Suriname, but in Antwerp they do. I lived 3 years in Brussels, 2 years in Antwerp, and I used to work there. So it's always, where are you from? Always, 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 where are you from? Um, it was no, that's to me that's not bad. I'm not from here, so I'm like a
Yeah.
tourist here for 5 years. Um, and it was a lot of tourists coming there, and they were asking like, "Where are you from?" So every time somebody comes from Indonesia or India, those specific countries, India or Ghana, I could always tell them something that I experienced in Suriname that they could relate to. Like there were Indian people, and I told them, "Do you know we have pagua in Suriname?" And they were like, "Oh, really?" I showed them some videos, and um, I talked about um, wait, Bakwan, the marriage. So I was telling them that they were like really shocked, like, how do you know that stuff, blah blah blah. And when Muslims come, we're like, yeah, I know, Idul Fitr, Idul Adha, blah blah blah. They're like, and you
Yeah.
have that in Suriname? I'm like, yeah. And then we talk about the people from Indonesia. Um, there is a video where I was at Tomorrowland where I was filming some people to say something. Um, and there was somebody from Indonesia, and I told them, yeah, Aku cinta padamu. It's just from a song from Suripop, and that means I love you. This guy went so crazy. that I was able to say it. And he started filming me, putting me on Instagram, like, say it again. So I think that's one of the nicest things that we are able to do that we don't realize that we have and that we're blessed on that part. Maybe
Yeah.
we do, but a lot of times we don't.
Like
So yeah,
I don't know
that's
why, but for some reason I like want to see like these people, like these YouTubers and all the other people like take like a trip to Suriname to like experience the culture there.
yeah,
Like to like stay a few days because like they don't what like not everybody like you won't really see like realize unless you're there. Like when somebody's telling you, you can relate, but seeing it for yourself, it's a different experience.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to see their reaction. Oh, like, oh, there's something interesting. Like my family can like also speak like many languages, like Japanese, Hindi, etc. But like one thing I kind of like regret is not getting like the chance to learn the languages
Yeah,
because I feel like it's something beautiful if you can communicate with people in many different languages. And I'm like,
yeah,
why don't they teach it at school as well? Like because here in the Netherlands, like their middle school and high school, I believe they have Greek and Spanish as well. And I'm like,
yeah.
but like in Suriname they just have Spanish
Yeah.
and English.
I think we need to first put because we have let's see, we have some dialects, right? Because Sarnami is not the same as
No, Sarnami is not the same as Hindi. And
yeah,
India itself and like Pakistan, that area has their own language as well.
yeah, yeah,
And the people who came from India actually came from a different part of India, like where they like talk like Bihari. Like that's where the people from Suriname actually came, like
uh-huh.
from my family. That's what I know. They got them from Bihari, and I've noticed that like my family like speaks more in the way of like Urdu with like mix of Sarang Tongo and some
Yeah.
Japanese words as well mixed in. Like it's a whole mix. So for me, it's like confusing. Like, if somebody like says something to me in like Hindi, for instance, I'm gonna look at them like I don't know what you're saying. Like some
Oh,
other word is gonna come
yeah.
out and they're gonna be like, "What is that?" But like in my mind, I think of this, but it turns out to be a different language than what they
Uh-huh.
speak.
Yeah. I really one thing I would advocate for in the future is to have Sananantonga in school. Just to yeah, not just to. Of course,
Not oh yeah.
we need Spanish more, but to have Sananantonga in school. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would say like the other languages as well because like it just like seems a more natural thing because like in Suriname people speak many more languages and it would be like a lot better for like people to be able to like communicate with each other.
I with um I totally agree. Like with Spanish, I understand, and we actually have to invest more time in Spanish. I want to learn Spanish. The reason why is because we're surrounded by only Spanish countries.
Not
It's
really,
very,
but yeah. And
yeah.
French Guyana, we like French Guyana, British Guyana, and Brazil.
Oh, I mean, yeah. No, I mean, in the
We're
region,
supposed to be learning French and
the whole,
Portuguese as well,
the whole region. I mean, the whole region. Because
and Spanish.
English is, of course, helped me a lot everywhere, actually. I went. So that's really good that we did that, even though I learned most of it from TV. But Spanish. we always go, even with everything, through the market of Dutch and a small fraction the market of English. But there is a whole market of Spanish, where if the country knows Spanish, we can tourism may rise. We can do exchanges. It's going to be a whole new part of the world is going to open up for us
Yeah.
just because the country speaks Spanish. And with Belgium, I spoke with a lot of people. The reason why they are coming is because we speak Dutch. Why
Mm,
they have internships here, etc. Just because we speak Dutch. So just because of the language, they're like, oh, 5 countries in the world speak Dutch. Oh, let's go to South America. So it will have maybe a ripple effect of a lot of positive things if our nation also uh, knows or has knowledge about Spanish. That would be really nice. I personally will learn Spanish when I have time, also, but I will learn Spanish.
in middle school we actually get Spanish, but we forget it because we don't learn it to like learn a different language. Like the fun is being taken out of it. It's like you do it because you have to. You do it for a test. After that, you forget about it. I wanted to like speak more Spanish with like my classmates back then, and they were like, they were just saying like, I don't know, and I was like, don't you want to practice? And they're like, no, why do I need to practice? It's just for a test. I'm like,
Yeah,
is that the mindset we're actually giving people, like teaching them in school, just for a test, then forget about it? It,
yeah. My
it's
my
funny.
the reason why I don't really know too much Spanish is because the you get it in 2 years, and then in high school, if you have the S package, you are
Yeah,
not allowed to speak
you
Spanish.
get in like packet A.
So
No, no,
yes,
not A.
Q,
What is it
Q.
called? Yeah. Uh,
If you
Q,
take Q,
Q.
yeah,
Yeah, it goes from A to Q and B to S. Yeah.
yeah. So if you
Yeah.
have S, I had S, and I could not. I really wanted to, but I couldn't take Spanish. Even I couldn't. So that for me was the reason why it stopped actually. But even though if I did, it was just 3 years of Spanish. I don't think it's enough. We really have to start earlier with
Yeah.
the
Uh,
with learning other languages. You have to start earlier. It's gonna be way more productive to do that. Mm,
I'm like, why don't they start like I know like it's sometimes a bit hard to teach like kindergarteners and stuff, but at that age when you teach them these things is when they actually start to remember it. Because I remember when I was learning languages for the first time, I was 2 or 3 years old or something, and I could speak fluent English, and nobody had taught me English. I just learned it from watching shows. I
yeah.
didn't realize that I was also learning Portuguese and Mandarin through the other shows because there were like a few TV channels
Uh-huh.
that were like streaming other stuff as well, and that I learned it from there. But then when I stopped that, even I still went on with English, but I forgot the other stuff, and I felt like that was like a bit of a waste. Like I could have done more with that because in Suriname, like Mandarin and Portuguese are important.
Yeah, that's true. And if you know like Portuguese, or they are Latin derived languages, so it's easy to transition to Portuguese,
Yeah,
Spanish, and even French. Yeah, and Italian
it's the same
also.
sentence structure and like the words sound similar, so it's uh
Yeah.
not that hard.
And the funny thing is, we actually speak one of the most difficult languages,
Yeah.
Netherlands. So it should be easier to learn another one, but yeah, still.
Yeah, so whew.
Yeah. So,
So
did you have any more things you wanted
any
to
more
know?
questions? Yes, this is probably like the last part we're gonna get into. This is about your current career and your future career in like MMA and like fighting for like the UFC.
So,
So
my yes.
yes, you can go ahead. Like I wanted you to like elaborate on
Um.
that because it was something
Uh,
I actually found you through like through one of my friends because you were working on that training for that. You mentioned
let's
that it
give
was
your
one of
friend
your
a shout
trainings.
out. Let's give your friend a shout out because I think I know who it is.
Tarish.
Fetish, yeah. Shout out to
He's actually
Fetish.
on a few episodes on my podcast. So
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him. Um, okay, so just to give you a short timeline, I had Olympic ambitions with judo. That, but I always wanted to do MMA. So after the Olympics, I would go to transition to MMA. Then I started to think about my age, blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, if I do the judo thing, my MMA is going to be moved. So if I start now, I will be world champion earlier. So in 2018, I decided to become professional MMA fighter, and from then till now, I was in my transition period. Um, Now I just put I bet all my money, all my whole future on myself. I really feel comfortable in betting on myself, and I did it. So um, everything I want, everything I'm doing is just to become world champion in MMA, mixed martial arts. It was my dream since MMA started, actually. Um, so basically, the planning, I have like a 5-year plan on how I'm gonna become world champion and enter the UFC. That's really, really realistic. It might be even earlier. So um, I'm now at the moment also everything is like going good. I'm fit to start competing. The reason why I took 2 years is because I did the grappling sport, so judo, wrestling, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I did not. Um, I hadn't even started striking, so kickboxing, kicking, everything with punching and kicking. So I took 2 years to build that up under the best trainers in Holland and Suriname. Mm, and now I'm just really fit to start fighting and improving, getting better and better to become world champion. To me, the fight scene, it's now a business. So I'm really like running a company. Um, I see the career as a company, and I'm really also putting in the work. Like it's like when you have a new app, like the beginning of Facebook or something. Um, you have ambitions, you have big dreams, and you just put in the work to make this app successful. This is the same way I actually approached my business pitches with investors, which I now have about 6 of that are believing in the dream. Um, and they are also like pioneers of Surinamese companies that really invest in the beginning of a career instead of when our athletes, our sport heroes are already like established. So they are really amazing for believing in me. Of course, the business pitch was really good, realistic, and put together good. You actually couldn't even say no. But that the fact that they just believed in me, I truly, really appreciate it. For the future, besides becoming world champion, I think during the whole podcast, you saw that I see a lot of potential in Suriname. I
Yeah.
want to put, um, I want to come, of course, come back to Suriname. That it's just, I don't even have to say that. But the network I built, because I'm going to be a international MMA star, that networking, having big companies, etc., sport companies, branding, bring that to Suriname to build a whole high level sport and also just sport in general, infrastructure and network in Suriname. And just to give a small example, to start with, having official sports in school starting from kindergarten with um, real
Sorry.
teachers did this sport, and it it's like the American NCAA
Like
system.
I like this. I like this because there was like this thing that I was think that's why I said yes because I was this thing I was thinking about like for a really long time like why doesn't somebody start with something like this and then you just told me this and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like I like this idea. I feel like this is important.
Yeah, so I actually never explained this in an interview. I always keep it a bit not on purpose vague, but just because we were really
Simple.
going in depth of everything. So this is actually the first time the world is gonna hear about what I actually want to do. So usually I just say, I want to open a big sports center that's 10 times bigger than Oasa. That's where I stop. But it I really have like solutions and plan A, B, where to start in this climate that we're in, and also knowing that in because this thing is only going to start after 10 years because my career is like number one priority. Um, with the flexibility that the technology, etc., in Suriname is going to change in 10 years, but those because if you just start in kindergarten and with sport, for example, let's say taekwondo, because you have to start with one sport, like a test run, and then it's possible to bring swimming, ballet, everything else. So let's say we begin. One school is like a taekwondo school, right? So if you get like 3 times a week, 2 times a week, school every year, you um, you advance to the next class like normal school, and you advance to the next belt. So when you reach, and you don't need to be a fighter, that's also the thing. Like we don't expect the whole class to want to go to the Olympics. That's not how it works. You really need to feel it. But let's say then you're in elementary school. Now you're a brown belt at, okay, that's maybe too much. Let's say you're an orange belt at 10 in Taekwondo. And then when you start to decide, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, that's your choice. But then you have a good base and
Yeah.
school competitions. It just teaches you a lot. And that's just with
This
Taekwondo, but it can be any other sport, swimming or basketball or football. And that's how you just have a continuous flow of new generation sporters that are coming. And um, that's actually just one part of all my plans in Suriname,
I
basically.
I like your idea. Like I feel like this is important because in the world we live in now, people with like when they like talk to their kids, um they're trying to like some people try to get their dreams done through their children and uh have them do the things they could never do or when their child is too loud or like has a lot of energy they like some people put their give them their children like medication.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, that your idea is a lot better and a lot healthier, like getting them started on like sport and physical exercises at a young age, because also childhood obesity
Yeah,
and issues like that is on the rise. And you can easily see like if the child is has like issues. And besides that, uh it helps motivate brain power as well. Like the child is going to have be able to like have some time to play with their friends, also be like learning like discipline and like respect towards people. But this also if the instructor itself themselves like teaches the child well,
uh,
like, and
yeah.
this could actually solve like some of the issues that people deal with, that people have now. And that's why I really like the fact that I got the chance to interview you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, so it's to me, I love sport, but the system I want to create is just to have a like a blueprint, and that can also be used. For example, not everybody will like to sport, but for example, just to have the same system in art or in um, like DJ school or something that you start them young to
Music school, like
music, yeah, to become a
like to
DJ, to
expand
rapping,
children's horizons,
yeah,
like
because
their view.
not everybody wants to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or something like that because we always try to. There are more variations, and in Suriname, we do have to get off the old system
Yeah,
that there are just so many options, and it's just you just gotta start. When you start, the whole thing is gonna come together. So basically, yeah, that's one of the things where I want to work, and then just the main thing is in just one word is I want to create a culture, and um, my part I want to give or be in this whole thing is create a sport culture. So my part is going to be the sport, and everybody can use it as a blueprint for art culture, anything culture, anything culture. So that's just going to be my part to do it in sport, basically. Yeah.
because like at the moment, I think Suriname is working with more of like supply and demand. Like like you need like these students who do this study to work these jobs, because you have like people sitting at home, they like studied this and this and this, but they can't find a job.
Yeah, I think maybe the biggest problem we have is that we don't do long-term planning.
Hmm.
Yes, when you start with the by the way, my system, uh, I'm flexible. I know it needs improvement and it's going to change, but so it's not perfect. But when you start with that, you're gonna um, yeah, you're gonna get the fruits of it in like 8 years, maybe 10 years. But then it's gonna be like oh, a lot of fruits. But we want to maybe sometimes we plan for 1 year and then it's not working. Okay, let's try something else. I think that's like I learned some of that with the planning of the Olympics. They get like 10 years to plan it, and they have to start a whole new infrastructure in a city that's already there. Besides that, when European countries or Tesla, for example, when you want to start switching everybody from just natural gas, electric to um, what's it called again? Uh,
Solar powered or like electric.
the what's it called again? Oh my
Solar
God.
powered.
Solar powered. Yeah, 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 solar powered. When you want to bring them to solar energy, it you have to bring them in a 10-year transition period, and they are trying to do it because it is a big investment, but on the long run, it's a lot better for the climate and for you because at the end of the day, it's going to be free energy. And also with Tesla, with he's bringing a car, but you don't want to buy the car if you cannot charge it anywhere in the street. So
Yeah,
you have to start with a 10-year plan to get every country or some countries where you're gonna distribute
charging
your.
ports
They
and
have
like
they need charging ports. How are we gonna do it? Blah blah blah. So it's you need to we I think we need to plan more like long-term planning or realistic long-term plans, and I think that's gonna work really good for us in Suriname.
especially if you have like a team with you, like with the like I said, like connections are like one of the most important things. Like when you're building up your career, and it actually helps make these plans come to fruition because you're gonna be in contact with, for instance, other business people, and you're gonna find ways to make all of this possible.
Yeah,
And yeah, time is a thing that time and effort are like one of the important things. Like in the beginning, you won't see that much, but when you're actually like nearing like a bit of like a longer stage, like the 8 years, 10 years, you're gonna see like a lot has changed. You think because these things are so small, they probably wouldn't make a difference. But once you have all these small things gathered up and done, you look at the big picture, you'll see, oh my gosh, if I'd stopped like when I was a year
yeah,
into this, I wouldn't have had this. I have like a
yeah.
question from Red Robin. When is when are you having your MMA fights?
Oh, okay. So, Red Robin, thank you for the question. I was supposed to fight in April, but then stuff happened in the world. Um, I already had a match in April 2020. I already had a match. It was in the Netherlands. The reason why everything is here is because I lived 5 years in Belgium and my network is here. But I am working on a network in the US and Brazil, Belém, for example. So that's just on the side. Um, then again, the 29th or 27th of November this year, so like last month, I was also gonna fight, but then the situation in the world happened again. So they postponed everything.
Mm.
To answer the question, I'm ready to fight. I do have to lose, like, I have to cut 6 kilograms, but that's easy work. But if they have a fight next week, I fight. So, realistically, I think March. I think no later than March, I will have my first MMA fight. So, yeah, I think that period. But it is dependent on the situation in the world, if it's allowed or not. If it's allowed in 2 weeks, I will fight in 2 weeks. Yes.
I wish you all the best for your fight.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Before I have one, I want to know who are your which who is the first YouTuber you started watching? Why and who now at the moment is your top five? Mine was Niga Higa, by the way.
Oh, I like him as well. Like this was such a long time ago when I
Yeah.
started with watching like YouTube videos and stuff. It's like so long ago. It's like when PewDiePie just started. I'm
Uh-huh.
guessing uh like from my memory, I think like I watched PewDiePie more because there are like others that I watched at the time, but I don't really remember them.
Uh-huh.
And like currently my top 5, uh I don't really I watch YouTube, but I don't really I don't really have like a YouTuber that I just watch on a daily basis. And
Uh-huh.
I don't. that. I just like keep switching in between. I used to like when Joe Rogan had his podcast on YouTube before he moved to Spotify. Like I watch his videos more often. I watch like Chef John, like from Food Wishes,
Uh-huh.
because like his recipes always worked out the best for me. Um, I also watch like an art channel, like a few art channels, but I don't have a specific name, so I'm gonna say Fivzy Fivzy Pop. She like made some animations along with like this other YouTuber as a voice actor. He's a comedian, Brandon Rogers.
Uh-huh.
And the last one is I forgot his name. He's like a young artist. He like makes music and he does covers. So that's like for now my five YouTubers, but I just watch whoever. They're like way more, but I still like the older generation that I grew up with. I still remember them. I still have them in my heart, but for like a daily content, I watch the others. For like nostalgic value, I watch the older generation.
Yeah. No, that's nice. No, that's very good. I don't know half of them. Actually, only Joe Rogan I know of your list. But I'm gonna try to check some of them out. I'm gonna try to check them out. And
Uh, we have another question. Oh
oh yeah,
yeah, are
of
we gonna
course.
be able to see like the fights on social media? Because Joe Rogan said like they cut like the knockouts or like some of the parts out of it actually.
Of the fights.
Yeah, when they like broadcast it on social media.
Oh yeah, I've seen some I don't know. I haven't heard that interview, but I've seen some knockouts on Facebook. Um yeah, there's always gonna be a way to see it. Um I have my um camera crew, yeah, crew, someone with a camera, who's gonna always film. And I want to go live because there are a few um, TV TV stations in Suriname that want to yeah, air it live. So I will of course try to do that. But afterwards, I'm always gonna post highlights of the fight. And if we just check one of all our own fighters. Well, of course, Biggie Boy, but he's in the major league, so of course it's gonna be live. But if you look at Donovan Wissa, he's also in a major league. But before that, he the fights were online on YouTube, live on YouTube from the organization themselves. And his dad used to film a lot from the stands and posted it afterwards, so you can still see it. Um, Point is, you're always gonna see it. We don't know if it's always going to be live.
Yeah.
Live is possible, but maybe bad quality because it's going to be with a phone or something like that.
Mm.
From me. So I'm always going to make sure I have the content. And if the organization has their own stuff, then we're going to see it for sure. Yeah.
Uh, it's like
I
Red Rocket,
will.
yeah,
I
the Joe
will.
Rogan cast.
Yeah, because Biggie Boy got interviewed by Joe Rogan. So
Like
just
I
after the
was
fight.
looking for that video to like gain some insight. I wasn't able to find that one, but I did find like the video of like his podcast where he was talking about Biggie Boy.
Yeah, Biggie
But
Boy is
yeah,
something. He's
like
something else.
I was like looking up like the weight classes. I was like a bit unfamiliar with that because you told me you said you had to like lose 6 pounds for 6 pounds, 6 kilos for a fight.
Yeah. Well, it's they made weight classes just to make it fair. Because if you're like 40 kilograms to go against somebody who's 100 kilograms, it's not fair. So they make like They made like weight classes, gave it also some special names like featherweight, strawweight, this weight, lightweight. Um, Basically, it's the weight is exponentially growing. Like first one is maybe 60 kilogram, the next category is 66, 70, 77. So in 77, I want to fight. My weight currently is 85 kilograms, but it's just the way the system works. So what they're doing, they every small advantage you can get in the professional MMA circuit is important. So what they do, for example, let's say you want to your weight. At the moment, I'm walking 85 kilograms. Then 3 days before my fight, what they do is go in a sauna, don't eat, drink a lot, and just get a lot of fluids out of your body, just fluids. Then you reach the weight 77 kilo. You walk on the scale like a zombie because you lost 8 kilograms in 2 days, 3 days. And then when you're done, you just eat. Now, the theory behind it is that if the guy is really 77 kilogram, on the day of the fight, you are going to be 85 kilogram. So you're going to be heavier, you're going to be stronger. So ever since people started doing that in wrestling, in judo, in a lot of martial arts, everybody has to do it because you're in a disadvantage if you're the real 77 kilo and you have a guy that's 85 kilogram. He's heavier, and it really makes a lot of difference to have that slight advantage. So that's the reason why that's weight cutting. And Biggie Boy is in the the heaviest division. That also means that most of the time, if you're the champion there, you're the strongest, the most lethal martial artist in the world because you're the in the heaviest division. Um, but I want to fight in welterweight in 77 kilogram. And I have been advised to go even lighter to 70 kilogram because I'm not short, but they said I'm short. Too short for the division. So I am thinking about doing when I go pro in the big leagues to go to 70 kilograms just to see. But I am gonna start at welterweight, 77 kilograms to start fighting there. Yeah.
Yeah, the more I probably gonna get into this, the more uh, information I'll get about this, and I'll work up to that as well. Because I'm really interested in this. Like, first time I heard about MMA was like I would say like 3 years ago from a bunch of people who like uh, to watch the UFC, and I started getting more interested in that. And I really appreciate the fact that you sat here with me today and talked with me about it. I'm really looking forward to seeing you fight and to seeing you succeed in the future. For like a last question, do you have like a message for the youth or people starting out?
Um, if you first of all, the most important thing is you need to educate yourself. Like, don't come with, oh, I don't have to go to school. School is just a place where you educate yourself. Um, Even now, I'm educating myself in business, in sales, in everything. You just need to always educate yourself. That's step one. So it doesn't always have to be through school, but I prefer you finish at least a base. I went to university, so my base is a bit good. So don't try to stop at school. That's step one. Get uh get your knowledge on a level. Step two, if you and then I'm only speaking to the people that decide to make a professional career out of this. Because if it's something else, then just be active. Be active, do what you like. If you want to make a professional career out of this, it is I've actually said it before, but I'm going to go a bit more in depth. It is a job. It is you're an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs have to work. They're not in a system. They're outside of a system, so there's no blueprint. Especially in Suriname, there's no blueprint for becoming a professional athlete. Like earning money by just being a fighter. Be smart with your money, invest, and besides that, that's when you already made it. To make it, so write down to make it. It is a job. You have to put 8 hours into it. Really, you really have to. If it's 4 hours of training, 1 hour of stretching, 1 hour of technique study, 2 hours of technique study, and 1 hour of filming, editing, posting on social media. Whatever you want to do, you got to do it. And second of all, is the easiest one, train as hard as you can. Surround yourself with people, like minded people that think big. You want to become world champion. That's the only thing you want. So you have to put yourself in a culture of world champions. Now, at the moment, you have to go elsewhere because in Suriname, we don't have world champions currently living in Suriname. So that is supposed to change in 20 years. That's the goal. But surround yourself with champions if you want to become a champion. That's really the three most important things. So treat it as a job. Nobody's going to give you anything. You have to work for it. Uh, I forgot number two. But see it as a job and surround yourself in the culture and yeah, educate yourself. Yeah, that's really important. Keep educating yourself. Those for me were the most important things that you have to keep in mind.
Thank you. Because you have people who say, "Oh, law of attraction. If I just think about it, I'll get it." But like you said, you need to put in the work, the time, the effort, all of that, the studying, the working on your base, and then you'll start to see your goal and what you've been working on for so long come to fruition.
Yeah, it's and just stay positive. That's really important. Stay positive in life. It's and then we go to the mind. It's your mind is very powerful. It's cliche, but I've actually experienced it. That just being positive gets you very far. Very, very far. So yeah, I totally agree with it.
It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. So use it
Indeed,
wisely.
indeed, indeed. No, I also want to thank you for doing this. I already told you I love what you're doing. Also, that it's in English, you can cater to the whole world. Um, your your podcast, admire. I think one of the greatest things of Joe Rogan is that his interviewing style is he just because he also goes off the rail, and we really
Yeah,
went off the rail, but we did not even realize it. Like we were talking about food, then censorship. I'm like, huh? How the hell did we get here? But it was really cool to like naturally and so basically, you are a good podcaster.
thank you.
You have really good questions in depth, and I like what you're doing. I will follow. I'm a fan,
Thank you
so I
very
will keep
much.
following you, and I hope
And
you.
I'm a fan of yours as well.
Huh?
I'm a fan
No,
of yours as well.
no, thank you. And I will keep following what you're doing, and we'll see each other again for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
For
we'll see
sure.
what the future holds as long as we keep on working
Yeah.
towards our goals and just continue talking, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
No, that's
So,
great.
thank you for being here with me.
Thank you very much.
This is the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. I put Shaquille's social links down in the description box below. So if you guys just want to check him out and you want to know more about him, please use the links. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.